along with my partner Tellis Everett, we're a couple of fans from the heart of the Midwest bringing you real talk and weekly breakdowns from the NFC North, the black and blue division. So whether you rep green and gold, Honolulu blue, purple and gold, or you rep the monsters of the Midway, you are in the right place. So lace up, strap in, and let's talk black and blue. Tell us, my man, what is up?
Hey, we appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you for supporting the Black and Blue podcast. To all your football friends about how much fun we have over here. Just a quick reminder, Will and I are real estate agents in the state of Michigan. If you know someone that's talking about buying or selling or investing in the next 3 days, 3 weeks, or 3 months, just reach out to us and we'll help you score a touchdown in real estate. Will McCann, what we got on the schedule today?
Dude, I am hopping out of my seat today, man. Do you realize today we are at the end of May? We are just past Memorial Day, and we are about 60 days from teams going to training camp. So the business season is starting to wind down. Teams pretty much have the rosters they're going to have going to training camp. We know that rosters are ever evolving in the NFL. There are always transactions being made. We haven't reached June 1st yet. After June 1st, A.J. Brown and some other players I guess yeah, have deals done, right? They're going to have contract changes. There'll be some releases. There'll be some trades. You'll see some of those release players picked up. Some of those release players will wait until after training camp to sign with somebody, or wait and see if there's an injury and get a better position for themselves. So we're getting toward the start of the season here pretty soon. So as we're winding down the business season, Pelson, I thought it was a good time to start to take a look at the NFC North and start to look at the teams in the division, the rosters that they're taking to training camp, and kind of evaluate those rosters and say who we think has the best position groups. So over the next few weeks, we're going to be taking a look at at each of the position groups. Today, we're going to be starting with the running backs. So we're going to be evaluating the running backs for the teams in the division. So tell us, my man, tell me, what did you think as you dove into this? Tell me what some of your thoughts are about this.
Wow. Initially, my thought was is that I know who has the better backfield, um, and we actually mapped this out. We have a calendar. And we work through the things that we're gonna have for the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting that there's a certain running back in the NFC North that has some issues, and we're gonna talk about the NFC North running backs.
Life is stranger than fiction, isn't
So.
it?
So yeah, I was like, okay, all right. We, like you said, we're transitioning from the business season
Yes,
to
yes,
the off season and building up for the. I'm like, man, it always happens.
yes, it
Someone gets caught up.
yes.
You got too much time on your
Too
hands.
much time on your hands, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Too
So
many, yeah,
there's that, and then also there's other stuff going on in NFC North as well, specifically in Minnesota and the current quarterback situation
yeah.
and the interviews that are coming out. Seems like there's a little animosity in that locker room. So
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, KOC is gonna have some issues there too. So yeah,
yeah,
I hear you. I agree with you. And as we get into the position groups and we start to talk about that roster, and what I think is a quality roster there, and we'll take a look at the entire roster.
right, right.
So as you said, we break down as we mapped out the schedule for the show. We'll see toward the end, that all of that is what's on paper, right? We
Right.
still have to get out on the field, and then the emotion of people come into it. And yeah,
Right.
they've got some issues over in Minnesota, but
Yeah.
winning cures all ills, right? So
Yep.
if they get off to a good start, they'll be all right. But yeah, if they get off to a slow start, regardless of who the quarterback is, because
Hmm.
if you get off to a slow start with Kyler, it's going to be Wise and JJ in there. But we'll get into that when we get into the quarterbacks, right? But
Yeah,
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 I
yeah,
agree with you as we start to discuss this. Interesting, I wanted to touch on a point you made about as we mapped out shows that we were going to be doing, topics for the shows that we were going to be doing. I was going to say that I don't know if you noticed it or heard about it, but NFL Network, Charles Davis and David Murray did uh, they did the evaluation of the draft of the 2022 draft.
okay,
And I just happened to be in the car as they were doing the NFC North. And they were talking about how everybody had given the Lions a poor evaluation on draft day that day, and how Brad Holmes looks like a genius today. I
right.
hate those genius guru, all those I hate, right? But he turned out to be right in the selections that he made. When you know what you need for your team, draft
Hmm.
those and and don't worry about positional value and draft value and
Right,
all of that. But
right,
they
right,
took an interesting turn on it. They used how many of those draft picks got a second contract? That's why they went back a year before we did,
right, right, right.
because the fifth year option was in play for everybody in that draft, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
who got the fifth year option, and then who else in that draft class got it? Because all of those guys, their rookie contracts would have expired. Who got a second contract? And then they had some guys who had got like Quay Walker. Quay Walker got a second contract, but his second contract was with a different team.
Right,
So yeah, they said, hey, that still is part of the draft class for the Green Bay Packers, and of course gave them an A also. So they had the same grades we did.
yeah,
But they had a different draft class too.
right.
But yeah, it was interesting to take that they took as they went on. So I was going to say they're listening to our show also and getting ideas for topics.
Right. We're all looking for ideas. But the thing about their draft grades, even if it was 2022, in the most parts, you're still talking about the same leadership,
Yes, yes, yes,
right?
yes.
So
For all four of
again,
those teams, yes, yes,
right. So what you're talking about is they they have a plan, they're working their plan,
yes,
and it's either working out the way that they want it to, or it's not working out the way they want it to,
right.
right? Because we're only talking about a year difference in what
Yeah,
they're what
yeah,
they're doing, right?
yeah,
So you don't know until today,
yes,
right? This year, 2026, if your picks in 2022 or your picks in 2023 worked out.
right.
It's in 2026 where you have to start adjusting your plan if it's
Exactly,
not if it's
exactly,
not working,
exactly. Yes,
right?
yes,
So
yes,
yeah, so when you're doing that analysis and you're a podcast like us or you're NFL Network and you got to fill 24 hours a day,
hours and hours.
you have the time to dissect these things
Right.
and look at it the way that teams and leadership should be looking at their and evaluating their performance.
Yes,
So
yes,
you have that opportunity. So yeah, it's a fun exercise.
yes,
I'm glad we're doing what we
yes.
do and getting
And
into it. It makes the season more exciting for me.
yes, it does. Yes, it
You
does.
know, and
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 you'll feel a little more knowledgeable about the teams in the division as we
right.
come
Yeah,
upon the
yeah.
season
Yeah.
also.
It's much more rewarding than just doing fantasy football.
You'll be right. I was going to say this. You'll be a lot more tied to a Vikings at Carolina game than you would have any other time, right? You wouldn't have been
Exactly.
there any other time, right? And you're
Exactly.
right. It
Exactly.
is much more rewarding than the fantasy football because you start to root for some foolishness with fantasy football. because you're rooting for points, and then the game, the sport doesn't mean anything, right? The
Exactly, exactly.
individuals mean something, and that is the ultimate team sport. So yeah,
Right,
it is fun to do what we do, and like I said, I said that very tongue in cheek about them taking one of our topics. We're certainly not the first ones to think of, hey, let's
no,
go back
no,
there
we're all doing something.
and evaluate a draft class. But
Right,
that was fun, and it was just interesting to me that our timing was at the same, it was so close together.
right,
All
right.
right, man, let's get into it today, man. Let's talk about these running backs in the NFC North. And let's start again in reverse order of the way the teams finished in the division last year. Let's start with the Detroit Lions. And let me bring up the graphic for the Detroit Lions here. All right. Okay. So there are the running backs for the Detroit Lions. Their primary running back is Jahmyr Gibbs. And on the roster, they also have Isaiah Pacheco, Kyle Robichaud, Jacob Sailors, Jabari Small, and Sione Vake. We've put together a little scoring system to for each running back group. So for production, I gave them a 5 out of 5. Uh, there is a lot of production with that group. Playing time workload, I gave them a 3 out of 4. Gibbs has been pretty durable. Pacheco, who will be their primary backup, I guess, if you will, uh, has been in and out of the lineup for Kansas City. When he's played, he's been productive, but he has missed some games. They both are good receivers out of the backfield. Their touchdown production, of course, with Gibbs is off the charts. I think he has scored more touchdowns than any player since he entered the league. They definitely have quality depth and rotation. Jacob Sailor, their third running back, has been effective when they put him in games. Sione Vake has shown flashes in the preseason, but he hasn't carried the ball much during regular season. He's been mostly a special teams player. And for explosive plays, there isn't a more, well, there are few players more explosive than Jahmyr Gibbs. So for that group, I gave them a 19 out of 20. Tell me what you think about this group.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be with Pacheco coming to Detroit. It's going to be interesting to see how he fits in, what his role is going to be. But he's a powerful back. Like
Yes,
when he
yes.
runs angry. So
He runs angry for
if
sure. Yeah.
he yeah, if he can stay healthy because he's such a violent runner. If he can stay healthy, then your rating will absolutely be true, right?
Hmm.
The problem is that if he has some injuries and then you're looking at Vake, I believe it's going to be Vake, not Sellers, as a third running
As the
back.
third back.
Right. I know he's been utilized in the special teams package and that type of stuff, but
Hmm.
you're there's a big drop off, right? So as we evaluate all these teams, when you look at the first two on the roster, they're solid. They're always going to be solid, but then there's a big drop off when you go to the third, fourth, and fifth. So,
Yes,
but
yes.
Jameer Gibbs is just an elite
An
individual in the
elite football player.
NFL,
Yes.
right? And that's part of the reason why Montgomery was asking to be let loose, right? Like,
Right, right.
cut me
It
loose,
wasn't that the Lions didn't want to keep David
right?
Montgomery. And the truth is, you could kind of see it on his face last year. You could
Yeah.
see he wasn't happy with his role. So, yeah, and that's why. I remember somebody talking about, was it, I can't remember. I want to say it was Marcus Allen. The look on Marcus Allen's face the first time he saw Bo Jackson run for a long touchdown. And it's like, yeah, wow. All right. So I understand. I can't even be mad about it, right?
Marcus Allen was like, Man, he was holding back in practice.
Right.
This is a different animal in the game.
Right. That
Yeah.
dude was different. And he could see
Uh,
it, right?
right, right. But again, for the Lions, and we're talking positions, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, is that it we can analyze all this stuff on paper, but it's in the games, how the games are transpiring, and what's going on in the league, and all those type of things, and who they're
Uh-huh.
playing, who the opponent is, and
Right.
defenses, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But on paper, Detroit Lions have an elite running back situation.
Yes, they do. And we're looking at the entire position group, right?
Right,
So if let's say they had Jameer Gibbs and then a bunch of rookies behind them, I don't give credit for rookies. I don't care
right,
how good they are, where they're drafted. If you haven't gone out on NFL grass and done it, then I can't give you credit, right, for your
right,
potential.
right.
So yeah, they and the fact that they have guys who've gone out on the field and done it. Kyle Robichaud and Jabari Smalls, they both are a couple of undrafted street free agents, right?
Yeah.
So who knows what type of they probably. I mean, if they any of them stick, they will be practice squad type guys. And what's interesting, and we'll see it as we go through all four teams in the division. All four teams are taking six running backs to training camp.
Hmm.
And not
Hmm.
one of the teams kept six running backs last year.
Right,
I think the Bears kept five. The Bears, Packers, and Vikings kept five. And the Lions, coming out of training camp, only kept four.
right.
And I think during the course of the season, having guys on practice squad, bringing them up on game day, they ended up with more. So, we'll have for every team three guys fighting for one or two spots.
Exactly. And the other thing about the Lions running back room is that they're young, but they're experienced,
Yes,
right?
yes. They are in that sweet
Pacheco,
spot.
yeah, Pacheco, this is his fifth year, I think,
Yes,
or yeah,
yes.
it'd be his fifth year, and then you're talking about this being the third year for Gibbs. So
This will be his fourth year.
yeah, right. So again, young but experienced. You really got a solid room, and
Hmm.
like you said, the explosiveness and touchdown production from that crew is going to be
Yes,
amazing.
yes, yes. And they both impact the game. Both in the run game and the pass game. So
Right.
they both are a threat there.
Yep.
All right. So moving on, let's take a look at the Minnesota Vikings. All right. So the Minnesota Vikings, their running back group includes Damon Claiborne, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, Keyshawn Owens, and Xavier Scott. And for them, I gave their rushing production, I gave them a 4 out of 5. Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason have definitely been productive when they've played. Jones has been productive for a long time. Definitely guys that you can count on. Playing time, that's an issue with both of them. They've been in and out of the lineup, right? Um, Especially the last couple of years um, for Mason. He only played 12 games in 24. He played 16 games last year, but I don't think he was healthy a lot. But I give the guy a lot of credit for going out there and being a gamer. They both impact the pass game. They've both played it well. I guess Mason's been here with the Vikings, and Aaron Jones has played in both Minnesota and Green Bay, where they feature the running backs in the pass game, and he's been productive there. I give them a 2 out of 3 in touchdown production. Good but not great. Definitely impact the game in the red zone, both. For depth and quality, again, behind Mason, there isn't a lot. Mason neither one of them are an elite back. Okay. So I give them depth for their depth and rotation quality. I give them 2 out of 3. And then for explosive plays, uh, neither guy is a guy who is a threat to take the ball, to the end zone anywhere on the field. They definitely are able to break off, 20, 25-yard runs, which are considered, any run more than 15 yards is considered an explosive play from a running back. So, yeah, they both are capable of doing that, but not at that elite level where once they get in the secondary, they're capable of taking it to the house. So for them, I give them a 14 out of 20. They're average to good. They're above average. Um, they are good enough. They have a good enough run game to win with if you have an elite pass game. So tell me what your thoughts are about the Vikings running back.
I think you're being complimentary with the average to very good. And and I only say this because Aaron Jones has only played 17 games twice
In his entire career,
in his
right?
entire career. And he's the old man in the league. He's been
Yes.
in the league for what, 8 years or something like that,
I
right?
think this will be his 10th.
Um, he's only had 3 years, or he only had 4 years where he gained more than 1,000 yards. So I it's a solid average. I can't go above average for me, right? Because when I look at him, looking at like I Aaron Jones is good for 10 to 12 games, right?
Yes,
And then you got Mason coming in as a backup, and he hasn't been able to stay on the field as well. So
right.
you might have a situation in Minnesota where you get to a point where you don't have either one of these guys in your backfield. And then, we talk about the overall picture in Minnesota and what's going on in the quarterback room. So yeah, for me, it's a very average. I'm
And
not
see,
excited. Not excited about
I
Minnesota.
hear you there, and I think when you think 14 out of 20, um, and that's where my typing skills may not have uh, been the best because yeah, they are. I mean, it's to me they are above. The reason I say above average, and maybe when I look at the individual categories, right, it's when they've played, they've been productive. And that's why the real knock on them was they're not explosive and they have a hard time staying on the field. And that's why maybe I should have only given them a 1 out of 4. Uh, Because, like you said, and Jones has been there a long time, or has been in the league a long time, and he hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Right,
So, and that has been an issue. Maybe they could have got 1 out of 4, maybe 13 out of 20, and 13 would be extremely average. And
right.
I certainly hear you there. And that's why I say average, maybe above average, because when they've played, they both are productive. Aaron Jones, for his career, his rushing average is 4.9 per attempt and Jordan Mason's is 5.1. So when they're on the field, they get it done. But I agree with you. The problem is a lot of times they're not on the field.
A lot of times they're not
And
on the field.
the most important ability, and I even say the most important ability is durability. So yeah, maybe they should have only gotten a 1 out of 4 for playing time. But but
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't think I think
if you're
that
looking
would
at your
truth would be fair.
categories, if you're
Uh-huh.
looking at your categories, you could keep the playing time at 2 out of 4, but then real not realistically, but the rushing production, if their playing time is 2 out of 4, which is 50%, then the rushing production should be closer to 50%, not a 4 out of 5,
Yeah. Yeah. And
right?
I would say, 14 out of 20 is 70%. So 70% would be a solid C. So,
Average.
yeah.
Not a C plus.
And maybe because I like Jones and Mason, I
Look,
was a little more kind to him. And then when I thought of, and I think I looked at just overall, Aaron Jones, um, He's like you said, he hasn't played 17 games, but he's only missed 14 games, which means he's missing games every year. Right?
Right.
Uh,
He had one year where
I
he
take that
only,
back, and then there were a couple of years where he just didn't play at all. Well, I take that back. He has started uh, 114 of 126 games. He has missed a lot of games. Five, one. No, he played 16 that year when there was only a 16 game season. So that's how long he's been around. He was around
right.
long enough when they only had 16 game seasons. So yeah, and but when he's been on the field, he's been productive. Maybe three and a half instead of four. But like you said, average, solid average for the
Yeah.
Vikings.
Yeah, that's a solid average.
And
Yeah.
then there are other guys I don't want to say nobodies, man, but they're all either undrafted free agents or street free agents who are just coming in to try to make the team. The one guy, Demond Claiborne, he
Yep.
was a six-round pick out of Wake Forest.
Hmm.
So he's a guy who might make the team just because he was a draft pick and they want to try to give him a chance to develop.
Right.
So if you think Jones, Mason, Claiborne, then you got Owens and Scott. And then did I miss somebody's name? Oh, yeah, Jabari Small should be on there also. I don't know why he isn't on there.
Yeah.
Jabari Small, who was a street undrafted free agent, um, or an undrafted street free agent, I should say. It'll be those three guys fighting for one position.
Yeah. I think if you're Minnesota, you're trying to develop Claiborne as a return specialist because he's just got that. I mean, he ran like a 4.37 40. So if you want to keep him around, you drafted him in the sixth round. You really and you're count on this individual to be an explosive player and a home run threat. You're going to try and get him some opportunities on
Yeah,
the field
yeah.
where he can pick and choose where he needs to get to.
Hmm.
So if you can develop him as a return specialist and then have him come in and spell some of the running backs from time to time
Get a couple of
or have him
catches
on
in there.
the end around reverse
Right,
situation
right.
or
Yeah. See, that's what I
set
was
up
going to say.
screens
Yeah,
for him and all that
yeah.
kind of stuff, then you got a home run hitter there. So
Right.
if that's how they're going to use him, then he'll stick with the team.
Absolutely. Because there's always a spot on the team for a guy like that, right?
Right.
All right. That is the Minnesota Vikings. Let me say this, though. I was going to say this. If Claiborne becomes that player, does that get them to above average?
It really doesn't because he's gonna what I'm talking about is that he's gonna help with the receiving impact in the short screens.
But he's a running back. That's the running backs affect the offense.
That's true. But you had the receiving impact out of three on that. You had it 3 out of 3.
True, true, true. So it
So
can't get any better. I get you.
can't get
I
any
get you.
better.
It can't get any better. All right, let's start to take a look at the Green Bay Packers. Their running back group includes
Look, I'm gonna let you finish, but this group is not elite. Sorry to Kanye you there.
Woo. I'm gonna say this. I did this. I did this a few days ago. But let's start with Chris Brooks. And also in their running back room, they have Marshawn Lloyd, Damian Martinez, Jaden Nixon, Pierre Strong, and possibly Josh Jacobs.
So I know you got it rated with Josh Jacobs in here. Are you prepared to make some adjustments on the fly?
On the fly, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right, I'll keep a tally over here and come up with the total. Uh, See,
Ooh,
this is why the off season is so important,
yes.
right?
Yes.
You you're a professional athlete. There's no
Me
off
too.
season for you as an athlete,
No, there isn't.
right? And then what happens is anything that happens during the off season, it's a slow news cycle,
Yes.
right? We
Yes.
just have the NBA, which has got games starting at 9 o'clock at night
Every other day,
every
so
other day. You got the NFL, or not the NFL, NHL,
NHL,
right? With none of the premier teams, like the
right.
legendary, like the
There's
top.
no O 16. There's no original
Yes,
16. Yeah.
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And you got baseball,
And
and
it's early season. They haven't even
it's
hit
early
June
season. Even though we're all some teams are already out of the playoff hunt
in May. At
in May.
Memorial Day, they're out.
But my point is, there's no sports news really happening.
No, no
So
impact news. No,
you can't be a knucklehead.
not at all. Not at all.
Don't be a knucklehead,
No,
right?
no.
So yeah,
And go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, go ahead, man. Just get
You
into this and
You said there, to piggyback on what you said, you said there is no off season, right? That's why I started calling it the business season, right? Once I
right,
heard Pat Kerwin refer to it as that, I thought that is the ideal name for this time of season because the teams are taking care of their business and the players need to be taking care of theirs.
right,
Like you said, you've got to be. There is no off season for you. This is your business season. Take care of your personal businesses during this time of year, and
exactly,
be dogmatic about it. Be on
exactly.
top of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Moving on. Enough said
And well,
about
let
that.
me just add this one more thing. The NFL is king in sports.
Yes. Yes.
So anything that happens
Yes.
related to NFL, be it coaches, reporters, players,
You with the subtle jab, man, just jabbing folks this morning, bro.
it's all, my point is,
With
I
that
know I'm
Larry
throwing,
Holmes snake like
right.
coming out of nowhere jab.
My point is this. The NFL leads
Ooh,
sports media.
yes,
If you're anywhere associated with the NFL,
yes,
especially during the summer, it's gonna get highlighted
yes, it is.
because they media needs something to talk about regarding the NFL.
Yes,
And it doesn't matter if it's on the field or off the field. And
positive or
sometimes the off
negative.
the field stuff will carry the summer.
Yes,
So
yes.
don't be a knucklehead.
Don't be a knucklehead. My man tells you that all the time. Don't be a knucklehead. All
Yeah.
right, so moving on. So you know what? I don't know. All right. You had me thinking. Okay, so I'm going to go through this. Oh, I did go through the names already. So I'm going to go through what I had with Jacobs. Then we're going to talk about what it means if he's not there,
Right.
if they go with this group. And I'm trying to think of well, we'll talk about it at the end then. So for them with rushing and production, I gave them a 5 out of 5. And for playing time and workload, I gave them a 3 out of 4. Um, uh, Jacobs has missed some time, throughout his career. He's been mostly durable, but he's had some years where he's been down. And the same with Marshawn Lloyd. Pierre Strong has played a few games for him also. Um, So for them, just playing time workload, I gave them 3 out of 4. Uh, Jacobs is average in the pass game. Their backup guys are average in the pass game. Also, I think uh, Pierre Strong has probably been targeted more than the other backs, their backup backs. I gave them 2 out of 3. Uh, Josh Jacobs is a beast in the red zone. And I think their overall run game has been strong in the red zone. They've got a lot of guys who have been productive. Chris Brooks has been productive when they've put him in, right? Um, so I think they've got a deep group there. And their explosive ability, they've got guys who have made big plays, right? And a lot of guys have done it. Strong, Jacobs, Brooks. So I gave them 2 for explosive plays, which gives them 18 out of 20. Now, you got your pen ready?
Yep.
All right. So for production, um, they go from 5 out of 5. They go to 2 because there just isn't a guy who's had large enough workload to be anything higher than a 2, right?
Right.
They don't have another guy who's had over 100 carries in a season, right?
Right.
So that would concern me. Playing time, workload, again, that would have to go down to a 2 again, because they don't have a quote unquote bell cow. Uh,
Right.
the other guys receiving, that would have to go to a 1. And so would touchdown and production.
So
That would be,
you're going ones for the last three,
ooh,
right?
let's see. Playing time workload, yeah, that's
Explosive,
got to be a 1. Receive and impact, they lost Jacobs. That's got to be a 1. Yeah. And then
right?
touchdown production, he's the most productive. That's how much production he has. That's got
Right.
to go to a 1.
Yeah.
Now, depth and quality, because they are all good depth players, but not a bell cow player, I'm going to give them a 2 for
Okay.
their depth quality. And then for explosive plays, of course, losing Jacobs are going to go to a 1.
Okay.
So what does that take us down to?
Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9.
Total? 9 total?
9 total.
That's 50%. No, that's less than, I'm thinking 9 of 18. That's 9 of 20. That's
Right.
40,
Right.
45%. Which still 45%, 50%, that's an F, right?
Exactly.
And an F isn't going to get it, which means if they don't have Jacobs, they cannot take this group to training camp. They would need to
Exactly.
sign a veteran somewhere. They would need to talk to the Cardinals and see who are you guys? What can we do to get James Conner? Um, or who was the other guy? They signed some, or Tyler Algiers, maybe, right?
Right.
Uh,
Right.
let, let, let's make a deal here. They'd have to get a quality veteran who could be productive and go out there and get the job done for them. And, that's what happens to teams, right? It's either an injury or a knucklehead, right? That
Right.
causes a roster opening, and now the team has to react to it and may have to overpay in a situation to try to resolve, to try to get to fill a hole. Because you
That's
can't
right.
take that group into the season and think you're going to win the NFC Central.
Exactly. And the Packers are doing their due diligence and they probably have a short list of guys that they're already talked to
Yes,
the agents. And
yes,
so, depending on which way this goes with Jacobs, you either have him on the field or you're going to miss him for a significant amount of the season. So you go ahead and you put together a trade package to get you somebody in there that can tote the ball.
Yes, and you know how dogmatic, to use that phrase again, the NFL is about investigating these things. You know,
Yeah,
they are not going to have another Ray Rice situation. Um,
exactly.
so
No,
yeah,
it's a serious it's a seriousness of the
yeah,
allegations,
that
right?
man, that is, and
So,
the video does not look good for him.
right.
So yeah, yeah.
So they're probably already putting it in works and going about getting that one or two individuals, seeing who they can bring in.
The Packers are an elite franchise. They will not be caught off guard with this.
Right, right.
All right, man, we're moving right along here, aren't we? Let's
Yeah.
move on to the team that won the division last year. I know you guys in Chicago love hearing that being said, don't you? Let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Okay, I thought I left a name off this group. I'm going to start at the bottom of this list because actually their best players are at the bottom of the list. Starting with DeAndre Swift, former or originally a second round pick of the Detroit Lions, still in the NFC North here, being an impact player. And then they have Kyle Monangai, who was a big time impact player for them last year. And then Roshan Johnson, who is their third back, who has been productive for them. We talked about him. We talked about that 2023 draft last week. And then there are guys who are fighting for the one spot. And be Britton Brown. Britton Brown is a street free agent. He's a seventh round draft pick, number 250 overall for the Oakland Raiders in 2020. Oakland, the Las Vegas Raiders in 2025. But he never played for them. Looks like he was on the practice squad and then signed with the Bears in the offseason. Um, Coleman Coleman Bennett is an undrafted free agent that they just signed this year as a rookie who will be coming into training camp. And then Savan, uh, Savan Ahmed. He's another street free agent. He was originally drafted in 2023 by the Miami Dolphins, but he's never had any NFL snaps. Another guy who's still, still fighting for his dream, who's someday probably going to be a great high school coach. Um, still fighting for an opportunity on the practice squad. So for the Chicago Bears, their rushing production, I gave them a 4 out of 5. And I know there may be some surprise there from some people, especially with their production last year and as good as they were in the second half last year. But I thought they were, again, very good, not great. That's why I gave them 4 out of 5. Uh, Playing time, workload. The reason DeAndre Swift isn't still with Detroit is because he's had some, issues staying healthy. Even though he's been fairly healthy for the Bears the last couple of years. Roshan Johnson, a guy that they've drafted who's been in and out of the lineup. Um, he, has missed some time for them. So I gave them 3 out of 4 for playing time and workload. Uh, Ben Johnson loves to throw the ball to his backs. Swift is a good receiver out of the backfield and still a threat to score when he has the ball in his hands, no matter where he is on the field. Touchdown production, they've got to get a little better as a unit in the red zone, I feel. But they've been good, again, not great. Their depth rotation, behind Swift and Monangai, not a lot of guys who've had a lot of production, or like I said, Roshan Johnson. So their top three, I think, are good. Again, not great, but good, effective, solid NFL players. That's why I give them 2 out of 3. And then for their ability with explosive plays, both Monangai and Swift are able to take the ball to the house from anywhere on the field. definitely a threat there when they have the ball in their hand. So them, I give them very good. I think they are a very good unit. Definitely a unit you can win with. And this unit definitely is better than the Minnesota Vikings unit. Yeah, that's why I don't know how I wrote elite on theirs because I wrote average to elite, and then for the Bears, I've got that theirs is very good with a 16. But
Yeah, yeah.
so tell me what you think about the Chicago Bears.
So before I broke into the evaluation of the Bears, I felt like they were closer to an elite running back room because number one, they're young,
Yes,
similar to the Lions, right? They
yes,
have a young backfield. Even though it seems like Swift has been around for years, this is going to be his sixth year in the league, right? Sixth or seventh year in the
this will be
league.
a seventh. Yeah, this will be a seventh.
And like you said, he had a problem staying on the field early on in his career, but
Hmm.
he's actually the last couple years it's been like, or last few years I think it's been 17 games, 16 games, 17 games. Um, so I felt like their quality was going to be a little bit higher, but then when I looked at Rashawn Johnson and what he did last year, and that
Hmm.
might just be a reflection of what Kyle Monangai was able to produce for them as a rookie.
Yeah, and I think go. Yeah, go ahead.
So I feel like the very good where you're at very good
Hmm.
is solid.
Yeah.
And my if I was to score it, I'm probably, one plus or one negative where you're at, right?
Okay.
Just because of how I felt going into it. But now when I look at it, I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So but when we talk about the Chicago Bears and what their offensive line was able to do,
Yes.
especially coming together late in the season,
Yes.
that production went up for the backs. So
Yes.
again, leading into the 2026 season, the Bears are still going to be a beast to handle.
Yes, they are. Yes,
And
they are.
you got some guys that can run the ball back there. So
Yes, you do.
yeah, so they got a nice situation going. I think with Rashawn Johnson, if he can if he can stick on with the special teams
Hmm.
and be a quality third back for them, then that depth is definitely right up there at that two, maybe two and a half.
Right.
But again, when you get into the numbers of it and everything, it's like they're a really solid team.
Yes.
They're a really
Yes.
solid
Yes,
team.
they
So
are.
I
Yes,
think
they
you're
are.
I think you're right on.
Yeah. I think between Ahmed, Bennett, and Brown, they're going to need two of those guys to make the team as special team players.
Hmm.
Whether it's as, gunners or um, actually returning the ball or as cover players, like Sione Vake, who is primarily a cover player plays coverage teams. I guess he plays all the special teams, but he's primarily a coverage player
Yeah,
for Detroit. So they'll need somebody to impact the team like that. If you can't be a starter, you have to be able to play special teams if you want
right,
to make the team. You cannot be one dimensional.
right.
All right, man. So that wraps up our review of the running back groups in the NFC North. So tell me, what do you? So rating them, we had Detroit as elite, Chicago is very good, Minnesota as average, and Green Bay as prey.
Yeah, Green Bay, they can't go into the season with Lloyd and Brooks as
No,
their tandem, so they're
no,
gonna
you
have to do
can't.
something.
They're going to have to do something. And,
Yeah,
that's the fun thing I think about this exercise. Now it gives us as we start to approach the season, what is Green Bay doing about their running back room? Because you can't go in with that group. You're
right.
going to see. let's say they had a guy who was a second round draft pick, third round draft pick, who had been an All American in college, right?
Hmm.
Maybe they could say, "Hey, we're going to just rely on this kid because we know at least he can run the football. He may not affect the pass game. We may have to go to one of our other guys if we need somebody in the pass game, but we know he can run the football." Maybe then they just go with that group, right?
Right.
Even that's a risk. But yeah, they've got to go out and get a veteran. They're going to have a veteran running back on their team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you
And
said, like go ahead.
we'll have a chance to address this all when we do our preseason for the teams, right? Like we did last year. We'll break
Yes,
down
yes,
each team in the NFC North,
yes.
and we'll have a chance to, yeah, by that time, we should know who's
Right.
going to be in the
We will
backfield.
have gone through all the position groups by then, because next week we're doing wide receivers next week, right?
Right, right, right,
Yeah, so next week we'll be looking at wide receivers, and like we said earlier, we're going to go through all the position groups. And as Tellis was just saying, once we finish those, it'll be time for the season to start. We'll be doing previews of the individual teams. By then, teams will be in training camp by the time
right.
we get to those episodes. So we'll pretty much know what the plan is for each team at each position group.
That's right.
All right, my man, that wraps up this episode, or that ends this episode. Go ahead and wrap it up for us, bro.
Hey, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. You know, Will and I love talking football, but when we're not breaking down the NFC North, we're helping people buy, sell, and invest in real estate. If you have questions about your next move, don't fumble the ball. Contact us for a winning game plan in real estate. Fellas, share the pod with your buddies. Ladies, share it with your crew. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and don't be a knucklehead. Drop us that 5-star rating.
My man, yeah, I'll be out and about this weekend doing a couple of open houses. So as Teller said, we're a couple of realtors here in Metro Detroit. So if you're looking to move, look one of us up. We appreciate all the comments you guys leave for us. Appreciate everyone who supports the show, and we will see you next time.
Yes, sir.